Well, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. You don't know which one it is. It stays daylight for like 12, 13 hours at this time of year, so we're just going to say hello. All right, what we're going to do right now, I've got a little generator, an RV generator, that I happened to find on my way home from work the other day. Drove past this house that was sitting out at the end of the street and had a for sale sign on it, and I stopped and met the man. He turned out to be a hot rodder that a lot of the people I know. He's an older guy, and well, I'm an older guy too, but he's probably 20 years older than me, so he's an older guy to me. So he had this Onan RV generator sitting out there and for sale, pretty cheap. And he said it runs. They said it hadn't run in about a year. We had a power outage in this area about a year ago, and they needed to run it for a while to keep the refrigerator and freezer and all that going. But now he's had some health issues, and he's not going to be RVing and not going to be doing a whole lot of the stuff that he used to do, he thinks. I hope that he does. I think I have a good feeling about him recovering and getting back into it, so we're just going to keep praying about that. But what I want to do today is try to get this thing started. And he said it had rotten gas in it from a year ago, which we know it only takes a couple of weeks for pump gas these days to go rotten. That's why I always use recreational fuel that don't have any alcohol in it. You can use aviation fuel. You can buy those little cans of EP gas. They're outrageous to buy them, but it's better off just to buy it bulk. So I like to buy, at least a 5-gallon can. What I did for years of recreational fuel. They sell it right out of the gas pump down here locally. But I also I've started buying 55-gallon drums of recreational fuel. It's 90 octane, 0 alcohol, and it'll keep, forever, pretty much. I've seen it sit, I've let it sit for a year in tanks, and it never caused any problem with carburetor, fuel lines, gas tank, nothing. So I'll swear by that stuff all day long. So let's check this thing out. It's a little what they call a Microlite 4000. And the guy, he's pretty crafty. Like I said, he's a hot rodder. He's built his own. He's had several old Packards and just cool stuff. And nice shop, does machine work and everything. I really hope he gets back at it. But anyway, this is it. He built this stand. He built this tank. It takes a battery. I took the battery out of my golf cart here. I'm gonna stick that in it. I drained all the gas out. I couldn't drain it, so I used one of those suction pumps and pumped out all I could. There was about this much still in the bottom that I couldn't get out. So put you that in camera. About that much. So what I did was I dumped some recreational gas in there, a couple gallons. Put some of this barium B12 in the tank. I'm gonna throw a battery in this thing and spin it over and see if we can't get this thing to fire and run. All right, here we go. I always like having stuff like this around. I'll definitely use this. The power goes out. I've got a little gas generator, a little Coleman 3000 that runs off a Briggs and Stratton engine that I usually use whenever the power goes out for whatever reason. But it's heavy, it's hard to carry around, and this is already on a stand. Let me get a 1/2-inch wrench. About half those cables. That one, anyway. All right, got my 1/2-inch wrench. Now, it's a combination, well, not a combination, open end, boxed in combination to be a 1/2-inch one end, 9/16 on the other, both of them boxed in. What I normally like to do is not use the open end on battery cables, because if you can get in here with this end and go in there and wrench that over. And back when I was young and didn't know any better, I did that and actually dug this end into a battery. And I was 15 years old working for my best buddy's dad. We both worked for him in their shop after school. And man, he made me feel like a real idiot. So I've never forgotten that. So I always use the boxed end if I can to tighten these up. He was a sharp cat, my buddy's dad. Does not want to tighten up real easy on that one. I don't know why. That is the negative side. It is the negative cable. Yeah, I double check it. And we could do the old trick where we just flip it over, and it's a little tighter because it's tapered on that end. Now this nut is not wanting to hold on very good. My wrench. It's getting there. Man, these old lead cable ends are wooga 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 old school. That's probably tight enough. Let's tighten this one up. What I don't want to do is hit this wrench on that gas tank there while I'm tightening this up, because that'll ground it out, cause a short, and we could have a fire here. We'll try this a little bit more. Yeah, that's right. All right, so let's take a look at this here. So he has written start and stop on the switch here. Well, it's a gasoline powered. I don't see any. Ooh, there you go. What is that? Prime. Priming it. Got a button over here that says prime. Turn that around. See, he's put this thing on a cart. Got her all fixed up. You see that button right there? It says prime. You can barely see it. And there's a start and stop button there too. That's a standard type button for an Onan generator. I don't know how long you got to push that. There's probably a certain time limit you're supposed to do that. I'm gonna try to hit the start button just to see. Well, listen to that. Had a little it's trying to start. Let's try to prime her a little bit more. All right. It's trying. Not running good, but man, that gas has been in there for a year, so I'm hoping some of that good gas will come through there. Clean that carburetor a little bit. Try her again. Try her again. A little more priming. Prime it a little bit more. Try her again. Well, we definitely got a problem. Let's see, it's got a fuel selector valve up in here, an on-off valve. I'm assuming that's off. And that's on. So it was already on. Let's take this side cover off. Just for the heck of it. Oh, that goes the other way. There we go. Let's look here. Well, now that looks to be like there's a drain on the carburetor. Maybe that's what that is. Hopefully it's not some kind of adjustment. Try primer a little bit more. Let's have a look at that. I think what happened is that just, well, maybe. It's turning, but it's not a drain. There's a drain in the bottom of that float bowl there. I really don't want to take that off if I don't have to. Could pop that off. Take that Torx head screw out, slide this, take this fuel line off, take that float bowl off of there, and try to squirt some carburetor cleaner up in there, maybe clean it out a little bit. I was hoping this would be easier than that, since I got so many projects. We'll try her again. I could always try the starting fluid. Primer a little more. Let me try to prime it while it's running. There it is. No, I guess I ought to check and see if there's oil in it. These might have a kill switch on them. That won't really allow it to run, which of course it probably wouldn't fire at all. Ugh. The old leather man. Use that all the time. Yep, it's got oil in it. Appears to be full. Yeah, I didn't wipe it off and stick it back in there again. It's a small engine though. It had plenty of oil on it. It was in the right spot, so. I don't know if it's surely not flooded. I mean, don't call me Shirley or nothing, but surely it's not flooded. Okay, what I'm gonna do, first thing, I'm just gonna turn this gas off. Take the fuel line off of there. Let whatever, a little bit run out. Loosen her up a little bit. See if I can turn the old fuel line on, see if anything's coming out. Well, don't see nothing. Oh. Primer is pushing it out of there. That pushed quite a bit of it out of there. To get some of that barium and B12 in there. Don't smell too bad. Let's try that. There's somewhere to see that there. I don't know why that was. Let's see here. I may have it flooded. No. It does act like it's either flooded or not getting gas, one or the other. Alright, well, I think the next thing we're going to do is go ahead and try to take that float bowl off of there and clean it out. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and try to get this float bowl off. Pop this out of here. Why is that behind that? That just doesn't make no sense at all, whoever put that on there. Because this would more likely need to come out than the starter switch. Turn the gas back off. Pop that off of there. Almost sliced my finger open. Alright. There. Let's see what we got there as far as what size that is. It's a little bigger than that. Might be a 9/16. It might not. Might be metric. I don't know what these things got on them. But I'm gonna find out. Now what I've noticed, and I don't know if it's a case on an Onan motor or not, but I've on some Briggs and Strattons, that bolt that holds that float ball, a lot of times it's got to be right in the right spot because there's holes in it. that line up with the pickup. So what I did was I marked a mark on the float bowl and a mark on the bolt and a mark on the carburetor itself. If I line those up, going back together with it, we should be all right. So let me see if I can get that over there. It is not a 5/8. 16 is about the same as a 5/8. 17. Oh, we got a winner. It's a 17. Boy, that wasn't very tight neither. And that gas probably just washed off my paint mark from the bolt. So we're gonna have to wing it. Oh, wait a minute. I think there might still be just enough on there. There he is. There's just enough. You probably can't see it, but there is a faint blue mark on there. Boy, I'm glad I put that on there, because if it wasn't, see those holes? Well, there's 4 of them. It probably won't be a problem with this one, because on the Briggs & Stratton there's only 2. One goes all the way through, and if that's not lined up, there's a slot in the bottom of the main jet pickup there that it has to line up to. I don't think we'll have a problem with this one. Let's get down here and have a look-see. When I say we, I mean me, because I don't have nothing good enough to get down there where you can see. Oh, I don't want to tear that rubber O-ring up, which I didn't so far. Try to leave it. But there is some trash in there. Let me, there's a rag. Dump the gas out where I can turn this up. Oh yeah. Look at all that nice looking stuff in there. That's actually, there's some rust. All right, we're gonna clean that out. And we're gonna spray up in there real good, see if we can clean it out that way. It's grimy. Let's check the float out. Let's see if the needle valve's working. So if the needle valve's working, when I hit this prime, there should be gas coming out. Yep. And that should shut it off. Okay. I'm satisfied with that. It is getting gas to the float bowl. Now I'm just going to clean this out. I'll be back. I'll show you. Did get this cleaned up pretty good. Much more betterer. Seal still intact. Okay, what we'll do real quick is just stuff a rag up in here. Just so we don't. There ain't a whole lot of steel to clamp this thing onto. But, all right. See if we can clean her up a little bit. Can't really see what I'm doing, but. You can't see, just add more. That's what I always used to say when I used to ride dirt bikes. I was riding up hills. I would say, when in doubt, gas it. That's what we're doing. Can't really see it, but we know it needs clean. We know it had crap all up in it. So we're just gonna kind of flush her out. Like so. Like so. Then pop this back up in there. See if we had any luck. That looks pretty clean. All right. Now, line up those marks. Mm-hmm. Then I can see through these holes. So let's put that up in there. And we'll screw that in until we line up them there marks. And just lined up like Don Garlits and Bob Glidden. There we go. And my faint blue mark is lined back up again. Boy, I tell you, if it's this easy, if this really runs after this, I'm gonna go hallelujah. Stick that back in there just because I've got faith. I feel good about it. Got all the crud out of there. The needle valve's working. Just hoping we can get this thing to fire off and run good enough to suck some of that barium down in there and tune up the carburetor. A little detent ball on my adapter stuck. It's a little cheap one, little Chinese piece. All right. All right. Where's my hose clamp? Man, how does that happen? Slid all the way down there. I mean, if I ain't mistaken, I think it had to go uphill to get to where it was. I mean, I just don't understand it. How stuff like that happens. You drop something, it rolls under. Now tell me, now, if any of y'all agree with this, but if you drop something, does it roll underneath what you're working on and all the way over just where you can't reach it? I see you, all of you said yes. That is aggravating. That's just the enemy pushing your buttons, is what that is. All right. Now, turn the gas back on. Oh, well, the gas is on. Didn't nothing come out because I wasn't priming it. So I'm assuming that you prime it up like this, and then whenever it starts running, if it runs good enough, it runs off a vacuum fuel pump that continues to pull the fuel in. But I'm just speculating. This is just somebody who don't know. They don't know for sure. Come on, baby. Oh, I heard a cough. Heard a little cough there. Really trying now. I'm gonna give y'all a better angle on the camera. That's a little bit better. All right. Let's try her again. A little more prime. Come on, baby. was best yet. Alright, so what I'm going to do next is take the air filter cover off and see if I can shoot a little starting fluid in there. Keep it running. Wouldn't you know it, that there looks like it's a 7/16. Or an 11 millimeter. Okay, I had to graduate from the knee pad and get me a chair. Anybody who's in their 50s and over 250 pounds knows what I'm screaming about right now. It's the old knee joints. The old knee knobs. Just jamming your femur down into the concrete. It's just not pleasant. And I think we should try to avoid it as much as possible. Who's with me? All of you. That's what I thought. Air filter looks good. Like I said, this guy was a hot rodder. He was, I could imagine that he's probably, he takes really good care of his stuff. This thing's sat for a long time. All right, we'll get a little bit of go-go juice. A little bit of go quicker juice. Oh yeah. All right, let's try this again. A primer. This is where we can tell whether or not the fuel's getting in. Just trying. Now we're getting somewhere. What does that say? Circuit. Oh, that's a circuit breaker. Well, this button work too. Come on, baby! Suck that dirt out of there! Try to tune it up a little bit. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
whatever. I mean, power outages in the house, even stuff running, it's quiet. Compared to other generators, they're pretty quiet. Maybe not as quiet as a Honda, but they're pretty quiet. And this will work great for me. Lots of different uses for this. You take it down, use it, go down, grind, remotely grind, different things in a remote location, portable generator. Yeah, I'm happy. Let's try and see if it'll shut off and fire back up. As you can see, the O&N Microlite 4000 generator runs great now. I'm going to see if it'll fire back up on its own.